Commissioner Rivers, Commissioner Magera,
Here.
President Hartman.
Here, if I can ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Park District meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve both the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners and the Personnel and Finance Subcommittees, both held on November 15th, 2018.
I second that.
I have a second. Any questions? Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Pye.
Aye.
Commissioner Magera.
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. It looks like we have a guest.
Yep.
All right. Just
He's gonna,
gonna go at his time? Okay,
Do you have any questions?
not yet.
no, we'll do the presentation
Okay.
when it comes up
When
on the
it's your-
agenda, unless you're in a hurry.
Are you in a hurry?
Nope.
Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Any changes?
No,
Okay.
no changes.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any questions? Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Magera.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Pye.
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, any commissioners' comments?
Yes, I got it. You get me with it. I attended the senior luncheon. Both of them doesn't give me what input with. Your staff did a great job like always. You guys been doing a good job all the time ever since I've been on the board. I enjoyed myself and it was good food.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it was
We're
really
happy
good.
to have you there.
It was really good.
The seniors, I'm sure, appreciate you coming home. So.
Yeah. I think maybe next year we could just sit out and,
I
okay.
think that's a great idea.
All right. Any other comments from the commissioners? Okay, anything from the attorney? No?
Not outside of what we're going to talk about on the agenda. So.
Okay. All right, now I will entertain a motion to pay unpaid bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the total unpaid bills of $105,919.87 and the total paid bills of $180,113.20 for a November total for $286,033.07.
I have a second.
I second that.
I have a second. Any questions? Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Pye.
Aye.
Commissioner Magera.
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, director's report.
Okay, a couple things just to add. We did get a invitation from Ansel Blink for their annual conference dinner. This year it will be held on Friday, February 25th. It will be at the Athena Greek Restaurant, which is where we were several years ago. Dinner is at 7. The event starts at 6, so I have to RSVP to them. So even if you're not going to conference, if you wanted to go to the dinner, you certainly would be welcome to. Is there any interest?
I'm not.
Yeah,
We didn't go last year's. Anybody else interested?
Okay.
All right, well, that was easy.
And then just a Ranger Police update. I have extended we did a search for candidates and interviewed. We set up 8 interviews. It ended up that 2 of the people called and said they had taken other jobs while the process was ongoing. One guy did show up, and so we interviewed 5 people, and we had a second interview with 2 of the candidates, with Deputy Chief Kirk Henderson from the police department, to just kind of go into a more in-depth police specific interview process with them. And so we did offer the job to Chad Murphy, who, do you know Chad?
Not off the top of my head.
He works part-time at Richmond and part-time at
Geneva?
Lake Geneva,
Lake Geneva?
Wisconsin. And he was here for a very short period of time previously as a ranger. I
If I
think,
saw him, I may know him.
yeah, you might know him if you saw him.
He looks
He
familiar.
did not stay. He was only here for about a month, and then he left. So, so he is familiar with the needs of the department and understands, and we were really clear about really needing an updated policy, procedure, good working relationship with Zion. And so I think that you guys, it's going to be a slow process. We're not going to make a lot of immediate changes, even probably waiting to hire more officers until there's some things in place to make sure that they're trained correctly and that
Right.
what we have in place now is right. So
So it's still part-time? It's part-time?
it is, but but we're looking at probably him working about 30 hours a week to try to
Get things
bring
up to
things
where.
up to
Is he
speed.
also still going to be working at the other 2 facilities?
I think if he does, it will be minimal shifts. I think he'd like to keep his Wisconsin certification, so he'd probably work there maybe. But it sounded like he could do a shift or 2 and keep certifications. And he's actually helping Richmond do their credentials. So he wanted to finish that project, which, I'm glad to have somebody of that caliber of person
Yeah.
that isn't just gonna say, yeah, I started this for you, but I'm not gonna finish. So, so we're really happy with that, and he's gonna start next Friday.
Okay.
So
All
I
right,
wanted
good.
to update you on that. Those were the 2 main things.
And he'll be at the January meeting, so we can,
Yes,
Meet him?
I will.
okay.
Do you wanna come in?
Come on, come on.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, anything else, Marilyn, for the,
That's all I had for my report, unless there's any questions.
any questions from any of the commissioners? All right. Looks good. All right, next is the investment policy update.
So, in your packets, I provided you with the PMA, Public Financial Investment Act, new investments, new strategies. There were some changes to the Public Funds Investment Act, which is the law governing public fund investments. So Eric went through our investment policy and made updates to it that would mirror what the new requirements were in the act. And I don't know, what was it specifically, do you remember?
Specifically, allow districts to invest in longer than a 1-year term. So now we can invest in, the thing that affects us the most is we can invest in like 2-year maturities now versus just stuff that's less than 1 year. Not that we necessarily really will, and I think it also gave districts the ability to invest in some corporate type obligations other than just like U.S. treasuries and governments and other agencies and things like that. But again, we don't hold any of those, but it does give us the option to do that if it was something that was advantageous to us. So
So we really just updated it to match the new
Just the new requirements and what we have to, okay.
Yeah, so there wasn't really much that changed.
Any questions from the commissioners dealing with the investment? All right, then I will go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the investment policy update.
Second that motion to approve the policy update, investment policy update.
I second that.
All right, second. Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Pye,
I,
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Magera,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, the next is the financial assistant guidelines.
So, we had someone donate funds to actually provide individual scholarships for a Park District program. And we didn't have any protocol in place for individuals. We have taken donations for like a program, supplies, or to make the program less cost for individuals, but not for specific individuals previously. And I think that that could be something that, may blossom, so we decided that we would look at some way to do that fairly and make sure that it wasn't just one person saying, yes, you get it, no, you don't get it. So we put, Kay used to work at the Y, and they had a financial assistance guideline, so we started with that instead of recreating the wheel. And so we put together the guidelines, the policy, the scholarship standards, implementing fee waiver policy. So that is how we're gonna do it and how we're gonna implement it. And then there is an application for the person who's requesting assistance. And so it's asking for some information from people, but I didn't think it was too invasive to them. It really just states to us that they have a need. If your family income is at the poverty level, that tells us a lot. And how many people are in your family and what kind of support that you get. So that's really what we're looking for. And I think if we're going to give people fee waivers, they have to have some skin in the game. And an application does that. You have to think about it. You have to spend some time on it. It's not just, can I just have it for nothing?
So how does the public know this? Are we
We would
how are we
only,
notifying?
so that's part of our process, is the only time that we're going to provide this as a possibility is if somebody gives us scholarship dollars to do it. So it would be program specific. So we
Okay.
have a scholarship open for youth basketball because somebody gave us a donation, and we would put that out there for that program specifically.
When you say put that out there, put that
Like
out
in
there
there, like in
on the website?
yeah,
Okay.
in the materials. This we didn't get before we put the brochure together, so it
Mhm.
wouldn't be in there, but yeah, it would be in the website, and it would be in materials when people were registering a flyer, something
Gotcha,
like
yeah.
that. Well, there's some way that we would communicate it, but it's not just like available for every program that we
Right.
have. So we're not gonna put it out that
Yeah.
way.
That's what
And we try and work with people anyway, if they're, if dollars are an issue, we try to do payment programs or schedules or something. We work with the Y for child care assistance credit, we work with the state of Illinois when they are involved with families.
Mother's Trust.
Mother's Trust is a big individual sponsor for families that they go to, and the school district social workers are networked in with that organization, so a lot of the individual stuff goes through them, which they have all this in place, which we prefer that.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought we needed to have something if someone actually gives us dollars to make available to people individually. We still ask for sponsorship for baseball, but that's for the team. It's not for an individual.
Mhm.
So we're still looking for sponsorships like this. This is a little different, and I just think we need to be prepared for that situation, so we put this together.
Is there a selection board that sits and decides who will?
Generally, it would probably be myself and Kay and whoever is the program manager of the program.
Okay,
And that's how we did it this time.
okay. All right, sounds good.
So we didn't, we didn't specify that in our guidelines specifically, but that's practically how it's probably gonna happen.
All right,
Unless somebody requests. If someone donates the money and wants to be on that, involved in that process, I think that's a great idea,
yeah.
right?
That's why
Absolutely.
we put
Yeah.
scholarship committee, so it can be made up of.
Yeah,
Okay.
we tried to make it specific, but also general to be able to use it for a variety of situations.
All right. Any other questions? All right, then I will go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the financial assistance guidelines.
I make a motion that we approve the Zion Park District Financial Assistance Guidelines as presented,
I
And
second,
application.
and application as presented.
I second that.
All right, I have a second. Any questions? Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Rivers, Commissioner McGarrett,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, the pool.
The pool. Okay. So the pool is the next facility evaluation that was completed by John Bosman. And so I gave you all of this report in your packets. So I'd like you to go to page 21.
He's already there, he just didn't know it.
There you go. So the state of the pool right now is, and I think we've talked about this over the past couple of years, that, you know, I've been concerned about whether it was gonna get open every year in the spring because of the issues that are there. There's a lot of worn out parts to the pool. So I really want to just kind of lay this out for you, and then we can have discussion, and we have to think about decisions that we need to make. So priority repairs, so these are some of the scenarios we could do. The priority repairs of 1 and 2 really have to be done if we are going to attempt any kind of opening of the pool for the
Next
2019
year.
season, okay? Those have to be done. There's safety issues that we cannot put off if we're going to open. So that's $60,000. Repair 3, I think is probably gonna be necessary to get the pool open. It's probably one of the general ones we've been doing for the years. So we've probably been investing approximately that much to get the pool vessels ready for the summer, when we're getting ready to fill them, clean them, get them ready to go. Repair 4, right now, we have one heater that works. That pool has been operating on one heater for longer than I thought, but that's what it is. So, if the heater were to go down after we open for the season, we would probably be done for the season. It would probably not be something that we could repair in a timely fashion because we're only open for 76 days. And that we'd have to replace it at that point, I'm guessing, because I'm pretty sure we couldn't fix it. It's just outdated. So that's one of our issues for opening. Mud jacking and replacing low slab areas, that would be great to get done. It's probably not as critical as some of the other items. Replacing play features in the sand area, not critical.
Be nice to,
That's gonna be the kind of thing that is going to give people the idea that we have made some investment in the pool.
The current ones don't work.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and we have to go back to 4 because the filtration system, up 4D, that also is in the same situation. It's currently operational, possibly. It's a question every year on whether we can get that thing to work properly. So we might be able to get it started for the 2019 season. If it went out, it would be another season-ending situation. And the pump, the one pump, we've replaced most of the pump. I think this is the last one that would need to be replaced. So it's probably another one of those that if we're gonna really put some mechanical money into the pool to open next year, it should be on the list. The bathhouse renovation, again, that would be, that's not critical. It'd be great, and people would notice it, but it's not critical to opening. And the main drain line leak, we have a solution for that that works. So it's not a critical factor. And we don't really know if we tried to get into that, how far that would take us in. This is a total, really, guesstimate of that's going under the pool, and that's just going to get expensive. So those are the scenarios 1 and 2. One is that we put $60,000 into it to correct the safety issues and try and open with the mechanicals as they are and hope for another good summer of them not breaking. Scenario 2 is probably put $250,000 into the pool to fix the mechanicals and to fix the safety issues, but really to give it no other makeover. It would just be mechanicals. People wouldn't see that part of it, but running the pool would be easier for the staff and for the maintenance department. And hopefully we would avoid going through the process of opening it and then have something break down and have to close it anyway. And then you can go to scenario 3, which this is still on the priority page, which is $567,000 to do these upgrades, which would probably make a difference to people. But then you go to the next page, and actually we can go to page 23. So we can look at a complete overhaul of an aquatics facility, 6.75 to 7.25 million. We could go to an upgrade to what we currently have in many areas of 2.45 to 3.29 million. Major renovation, including the bathhouse, and so these are kind of the 3 steps down from there to go. So, the lowest one of those is $1,110,000. So I think it just shows us that it's a big investment. And if we put the $250 in, that will probably get us maybe 2 or 3 years. Maybe that'll buy us 2 or 3 years, but it won't look any different. So for the public, it's probably not going to be that, oh, the pool's new, let's go check it out. And I think we have to consider that, the 500,000 would get us more closer to that. Oh, they really updated the pool, but it's still only going to buy us
Couple years.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit. It'll be a longer term if we were to do that. So the other question, the reason I wanted to talk about this now is because if we're gonna do something for the 2019
We
season,
need to do it now.
we have to prepare to do it now. And so there's a couple of options there. So I just want to lay that out for you, and if you have questions.
Straight up question. What's your recommendation?
That's a good question. It's a really good question for me because I've been going back and forth on this.
Well, it has to do with you and Eric because of
Okay.
management and NK, management and budget. Because, I've been in the city, and my kids have been in the pool. I've been there throughout the years and, through my job, I've been through there. And, at some point, we're gonna have to address all the above. We know that we can't open it, and we don't have the safety things done.
Yeah, that has to be done no matter what.
And we know that in order to continue bringing people in, we have to update at some point. Yet, we can't afford this right now.
No.
How-
So-
We would have to go,
Are-
we'd have to go into debt.
We're not
to
at-
do any of that.
We're not out of debt yet. So, and this is an unreasonable number at this point.
Are we making good money on that pool year to year? I mean, are we staying above, or are we just like
No,
making it by the
we're not.
skin of our teeth?
We don't make money.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's the million-dollar question.
Well-
It's more of a service to the
Right,
community.
to the
Right.
community.
Right, which, and that's a whole nother side to this, is our
Right.
mission,
Right.
our vision for the community, and we have to consider that side of
in-
this equation also.
In discussion before any type of vote or thought is being, cast, is that with a budget and debt still out there, that $500,000, $567,000 to give us a couple of years is a good idea.
Actually, yeah. So I
It
would,
would give us a little bit of aesthetics.
I don't know that we have enough money to do that for next
Okay.
season. So I guess I can put that out there, is
Okay.
that for next season, I don't see us having the ability financially unless we go backwards from where we are now.
That's part of the question. then.
Yeah, to put more than $260,000 into it. I think that's the cap that makes sense financially for where we are at right now.
So that means just the mechanicals and safety
Right.
without,
and just pray to God with nothing.
Well, then, if we do the mechanicals and the safety thing, I think then we at least have a good product that isn't gonna,
so then here's
Die
a
in the
point
middle.
of discussion, is that when we put something out as a park district that, whether it be the website or Facebook page, that part of what we do, the long-term plan is that we're doing mechanical upgrades, and the long-term plan is to upgrade,
right.
the
Yeah, and then
facility,
I got
so that
another.
the public knows.
Yeah, I got another twist to put in there, and why I have a hard time saying right now what my recommendation is, because, one of the things we'd like to do in our comprehensive plan, the facility assessment's part of it, but it's also to do a community survey. And asking people, is
Exactly.
this a valuable piece
Right.
to the park district,
Right.
to the community? Because the numbers have gone down in utilization. Now, some of that is because it's an old tired pool, right? There's
And that I do
some
understand.
part of it. So it's got a lot, and we haven't done a survey yet. We could maybe do something specifically for the pool, but I'm afraid that would feel rushed and people wouldn't feel like they really got to give us the input we need, because we have to make a decision, I think, fairly quickly. So, that's, I want to lay that all out so that if you have questions or we can have discussion about this, as a staff, we have been having discussion.
Well, how
Good
about,
response.
how about we just make a motion to vote either option 2, and then go out with the survey and ask.
So you wanna do the survey before?
No, after. Do option 2, where the cap is, and then we can get the survey to find out where the community feels about the pool before we start dumping crazy money into it. I think that would probably be the best way to go, unless anybody else has anything
I
to.
got one question.
Is that items 1 through
No.
4?
No, option 2, what was option 2?
The cap is the 260,000.
Yeah,
It's approximately,
It's
it's
the
like
one,
one
two,
heater,
three,
one
and
filtration system, 1 and
it's
2 refrigerator.
264.
Okay.
It's 260.
We could do 1 heater instead of 2 heaters immediately, because we
Yeah.
have still 1 working heater, so, you know, there are ways to massage this a little bit too.
But how long is that one heater gonna last? Do we know? I mean,
But the
is
one
it-
heater's
Well-
already been using, right, for a few years?
I mean, it's been around a while, so that could go like that.
But Bill,
Isn't that the one that had to be
like she said, one heater we don't put a brand new heater.
Right, so it would have a
Yeah.
supplemental of that older heater.
Yeah.
It probably would take a lot of pressure off of the one heater. We'd have 1 new one and the old one.
Okay.
I'm perfectly comfortable doing 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait 2 or 3 years. Do that next.
Probably the best thing is to get a survey out to find out what the community feels.
Right, so that is on our
Yeah.
radar to do that overall. It's gonna be an overall thing.
Right,
So that's gonna be kind of a long process.
yeah.
But
So, yeah, that's why I hate to just rush that part of it. I don't know that that's the best solution. But
Yeah,
then you're putting money into something that, what if 80% of this community says we
No.
don't care about a pool?
Right, and then we're putting this, yeah.
yeah, but if we don't, we may have the 80% be like, we love the pool.
Yeah, it's gonna be controversial either way, right?
There's gonna be 80% that don't golf. There's gonna be 80% that don't use the fitness center.
Yeah.
There's gonna be.
That's right. So then that's when you get into what's our mission and what's our purpose, right? And
Right.
it is to provide recreation opportunity.
And that's,
And
Yeah.
I think the other thing that really is what kind of gets me for the pool is, you know, even though it seems like our swimming lesson program has declined, I like the fact that we're teaching kids in this community how to swim, especially because we live on this lake.
Right.
You know, and so that's one of my things that you know,
all right, so I guess we will,
I don't know, it's not an easy answer.
so I guess,
For a vote.
And
I
I
guess-
just want to say too that we start doing the pool mid-May. So we start training staff, interviews and that happens before, but you're looking at a really short time span to do major stuff because it's new equipment, right, that has to be bidded and installed, and so, you know,
Yeah, the time frame is
Yeah, it's
critical
kinda-
too.
it's going to be a tough time.
I will make,
so your recommendation is start with the 260,000? Get those 2 things repaired first for the beginning of next year?
I'd like to hear what you guys think, really. I would like to hear some input.
My concern would be for the staff, if the pool doesn't open, what happens to that staff? And
That's a really good question, and it is a concern that we have, that, yeah, would we ever get them back?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right,
That's a good concern.
Yeah, it's difficult to get lifeguards. It's difficult to hire them and Get
I'd
them
hate
on
to see
board.
it go.
I think it should be opened,
Mhm.
but it just depends on what that means to how much.
To get it
repair-
open.
Right.
I have a question for Kay. The low slab areas, the mud, the mud jacking of the concrete or replacing of the slabs. How bad is the concrete that needs to be fixed? What kind of trip hazards? Because if we're doing one heater and we could do the concrete, if both heaters are necessary, or we could do one heater and replace the concrete. If it's a safety issue, I'm all for taking care of the safety issue.
Well,
You see what I mean?
yes, the health department is the one that has the hardest time with the cracks. They make us fill it in every year. So it does become difficult, right, to do that part. But it would be more an aesthetic.
Yeah, it would be a safety feature also. It's not terrible. We manage it by, smoothing those edges.
Okay.
Right.
But
So at this point, it isn't critical.
yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well,
Well, let me say something. I want to be good with everything yes to the 260 come back. I don't want to come spend that money, then you come back saying, no, we need another $200, $200,000 for more equipment.
You don't want that?
yeah,
Is
well,
that
you're
what
gonna
you
have
said?
to break it down into, yeah. I mean, you're gonna have to break it down into different projects. Repair the safety and the equipment, and go in and repair this. And again, I think that the whole survey thing, to find out what the community is interested in, because that's gonna play a big weight on what our decision is, what we do with that pool.
So do you
Because
want
if,
us to try and do that before we make this decision?
I don't know,
No.
I don't.
I don't,
No,
No.
we
no,
got
I think we should just go in and do the maintenance and the safety, and then go out with the survey
Yes.
after that's complete. And then we can get a feel for whether we're going forward or not, or are we gonna pull the plug. That's what I feel.
Yeah, it's a hard decision.
It is a hard decision, very hard decision.
Been going back and forth on it, and I agree.
Well, if the budget says that we need to fix and maintain and get it open and operating for $260,000, then that's what I'm for.
Me too.
And our finances can tolerate that for this year?
Right, so we have the 100,000 in the construction fund currently that has not been earmarked, so that's about half of it. We're running ahead in overall, so there's maybe 60,000 there, and then we would have to use some of our reserves, which,
Yeah,
And then we still have to talk about the Shiloh Center too,
Right.
right?
yeah.
So,
and the maintenance garage,
Yeah.
that we talked
Oh,
about
yes.
a few meetings ago that still has.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other factor too, right?
Well,
that
that is the
this
other
not the
factor, is
only
that this
need.
is not the only need. We have the maintenance garage that, really, we're gonna have to figure out something there that, we haven't made much progress on that, because there's not a lot of buildings to even look at available in the community for options.
Well,
So, but yeah, those are all the factors that factor into it.
I don't want to close the pool.
yeah, I don't think, right now, that'd be the smart thing to do, right now.
Well, and there is the option of, just doing the safety issues of $60,000 or $70,000 and,
Hope for the best.
hoping that we
Yeah.
get through one more season. I mean, we would have to, I think, that would be our last resort we would have to do something next year, for sure.
I want to visit you.
Want
And
to
the,
take,
and the
Yeah,
other
I'm
issue is,
okay.
you know, the vessels themselves, you know, they're in pretty good shape, but they've been there a long time, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go back to what Rick said. What do you recommend?
mm.
Yeah.
The staff all asked me that yesterday too. I said, I'm not sure. I really see the value in having the pool. I'm afraid if we just did safety, the safety stuff, that something would happen and, you know, we would have,
Mhm.
you know, we wouldn't have a successful season. I feel like we've been on borrowed time with the facility the way that it is for a couple of years. So I think that may really not be effective. So I think if we're gonna do anything moving forward, we should probably invest in the mechanicals so that we know that it is going to be operational.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my,
So you're
That's
going
my
with
thought.
option 2 then, the 260,
that's my thought.
right, Marilyn? 260, that's what you're going with?
But the 260 included both heaters?
No.
Okay.
It includes the safety stuff, one heater, one filtration system, maybe the pump. I think it's gonna depend on how these other things come in.
Right.
It's really the filtration and the heater that are, I think, the things that if they go out, would close the pool down mid-season.
Yeah.
so how do we make a motion on this?
So what we'll do is we'll make a motion to approve the option 2 of the $260,000 to repair the safety and the mechanical of the pool. And then, like I said, go forward with the survey, find out what the community wants.
And the survey's a separate,
I mean,
Yeah, that's actually a separate,
Right.
We have a budget for that, to have that done.
so do we want to add that in there or just go with the straight 260,000?
Yeah, I don't wanna add the
Okay.
survey into this
Okay.
motion, I don't think it needs to be.
All right.
I mean, I think it's understood that that's gonna be part of the next step.
All right, any other questions from the? All right, well then with that said, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion that we approve option 2 to repair the safety and mechanical issues at the pool.
I make a motion that we approve option B for Port Shiloh Pool for budget and priority repairs for the safety and mechanical repairs for $260,000 plus or minus.
I have a second?
I second that.
I have a second. Any questions? Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner McGarrett,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Great job, guys.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, great job. This is a
Yeah.
tough one and it's a tough decision and I think we kind of figured it out.
Okay.
Now, next on the list is the Shiloh Center.
Right, so this is the final version of the Shiloh Center evaluation. Really, my recommendation is that we really don't do anything until we see if we can find some kind of funding to do. And John did add the project at the back for the flood mitigation that Gwalt Hamilton did the engineering for us. I'm still looking for possible grant opportunities for that. It's a little bit, you know, it's kind of a tough. We could probably find maybe some dollars for the green infrastructure part of it, but some of the engineering and mechanical stuff, you know, people don't know.
But we've already secured this, right? The coastal management and the stormwater?
Yes, although they were part of, if we got the NRPA
Oh.
grant. So I think that we can still count on dollars from them if we find another funding partner. But at this point, there's nothing in that building or in this evaluation that is imminent, critical, besides the infiltration of water from the pond.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just, you know, we don't have the resources to do that right now. that would have to be something that we're gonna look at as a capital project item if we don't find some other resource of funding.
Great question. Other than sandbagging, is there any other emergency plan?
I think sandbagging and putting in a pump so that the water that comes, because the problem with sandbagging the pond is then you've captured everything that's coming from the
Right.
top.
Correct.
So you have to do both.
Right.
But yeah, that pretty much, and just making sure that the pond stays open, that the channel going out does
Right.
not get clogged with debris when we
Right.
have big rains, and just really paying attention to it and putting the manpower to that we have to when we're expecting that kind of situation. So yeah, that's, I haven't come up with something else for how to do that.
That's a tough one.
So you recommend we put this on hold for right now then?
Well, yeah, I just want you to kind of be aware, and,
Okay.
you know, you went through we did talk about that project when we were talking about that grant from NRPA. That's, you know, that's another $450,000 project, so.
All right. Well,
It's
we'll go ahead and,
yeah, it's all adding up real fast.
No, no,
But if there's nothing else there that's, you know, safety related or immediate, there's no immediacy other than that part of the project. And yeah, I think that we can mitigate that to the best degree that we can. If the building does flood again, that's gonna be a problem. And the flooring over there on the first floor is probably a problem. We can probably manage through that.
okay.
wait a minute. Can you go to page 18?
On the Shiloh Center,
Yes,
page 18,
I got an idea for you,
okay?
but I don't know how much it will be.
What is it?
You see the trees? We take the tree out and extend the pipe. Would that fix the flooding? Or that would be
Oh, this,
too
Again,
much
it's-
money?
it's like
On
here.
the west side, yeah.
What side?
The problem is that that's a hill. So I'm not sure how much you'd have to excavate to get a lot of the square footage of the water to move that way. You'd probably have to excavate quite a bit, but that might be a thought.
Oh, here. Oh, that
We'd have to talk to an engineer to find out if that would be something that would possibly work.
option 2. Double option.
Okay.
I looked at this a long time. But probably give me a minute. Let me find the page.
What's the picture of?
The island. Removing that.
Oh, removing the island?
Yeah, would that be a idea?
Wow, that would be,
I don't know, that's another thing that I think that,
that's an engineer question
yes,
there.
like an engineer would have to look at that and I don't know what kind of cost that would be to move that much material. You know, I could ask John Bosman if he knows what that would be. What that would be,
Cha-ching.
but it might be.
Yeah.
It's a
Those
thought.
are good two
I'll
options.
ask those two questions.
Thank you.
All right, that's good two options.
Telling you to
Hopefully it'll work. All right, so we'll go ahead and put this on hold then?
Yep.
All right, next one is the farms.
Okay. Okay. I didn't have any thing to give you yet.
Oh.
So there's not a contract at this point in time on this. But there are some questions and the possibility of you approving contingent on a contract approved by the attorneys, myself, and one of you if you would like to be involved. So, it's 37 acres, yeah, 37 acres. It's on the corner of Route 173 and Lewis Avenue.
Southwest corner?
Yeah, which corner?
Southwest.
Southwest.
The,
Where they used to have the dirt biking?
Mhm.
Okay.
That wasn't really, I think the guy who owned it
Unsanctioned
was
dirt
out there.
biking.
Yeah, I think maybe
The what?
the guy who owned it did that too, so maybe it wasn't
Is
totally
that one of those
unsanctioned,
condo?
but.
No.
No.
you're talking
trying to
about,
It's, the reason that they haven't been able to sell it and use it for development is because the creek runs through there and there's a low spot. So, the owner has been sitting on it and paying taxes on it for a very long time. And so its best use, potentially, would be something like this.
Right, so he's very concerned about keeping it a conservancy for the wild animals that are there. And so that's one thing. And there are some passive uses that he would be okay with because, my thought is if it's a district park, we would want to have people to have access to it. But it might be a really great place to just put in paths and picnic tables and pretty much leave it pretty much open space. One of the things that we talked about was making a dog park there because there are some spaces that are pretty flat, dry areas. So he was really interested in something like that. So one of the sticking points with Jim Rock, we've been going back and forth on this. So Jim sent them, basically, he took a real estate contract and tried to make it fit with this donation and then added a rider to it because they want a deed restriction on the property that we will not build anything on the property or develop it really in any way other than passive. So he doesn't want to see any buildings. He was okay with the parking lot. He was okay with pathways. He was okay with some amenities like parking lot and picnic tables, but no storage type building.
No restrooms, no.
Yeah.
What about like if you did dog
They took
things
that.
out there, no building for, because don't you guys have?
He did leave restrooms in there. He was really concerned about us putting storage facilities because that was one of the things that I put in there because it was like, yeah, for
If you have a dog class and you,
something like that. But he really doesn't want to see us building any buildings on it. So those were the two things really that he took out of there. He did want to put in deed restrictions that specifically prohibit buildings or improvements of any kind that would encumber the wildlife. And deed restrictions specifically prohibit any portion of the property from being used for storage of any park district equipment, materials, or to conduct park district operations. So he is pretty specific about that. The other area where we had some discussion is, he's trying to do this as a tax write-off, right? So the value has been appraised, so they have an appraisal. He wanted a receipt from us for the value of the property, which Jim Rock was like, we're not gonna do that. We would do a Dowie acknowledgement that there's an appraisal on the property, but they're not giving us any cash donation that has a cash value, right? So I think we can probably get there on that one, but that is one area that Jim was pretty specific about. There is an IRS form though that I sent back to this guy and said we would do this. So as long as that's part of the agreement, we'll be okay, I think. The other thing, and this is the final thing that I think we really have to consider, is if any of the above conditions are not met, the property in its entirety, including any improvements that have been made, shall revert back to the owner. So if we put something that he doesn't like, yeah, and it's really a building is where he is really stuck. It's not amenities like a picnic table or even a restroom. That was one of the things that was put in here. And, you know, leaving it open space.
And the only concern he has is a building, that's it. So,
Yes, he does not want us to,
put any type of building on it.
no. So,
Do you have a picture of the tract land handy? Because I do know that there's a section of that land that's owned by the guy that owns
I don't think I printed that. I have it on my computer.
I thought I saw a picture of it somewhere.
Yeah, did I give you one in your packets? No, I didn't give
No,
you
no,
anything.
Anyway, you have Champarton Industrial right there.
Mm-hmm.
The very south end of that lot, the very two corner lots to Lewis is owned by the guy that owns what used to be the recycling facility, and then he owns where the military trucks are, and then the
Yeah, I think it cuts out like.
yep, he has that
cuts
little
that
corner
out.
piece.
Mm-hmm.
Now he uses that little spot for his little dirt bikes and four wheelers. So he owns that little corner. But the rest of the 34, 37 acres is the other guy. So, you know, that abuts to, you know, Champart or 20th, whichever one it is.
Are there still people running?
It's
dirt bikes?
illegal.
I know, but do they? I
From time to time we catch them.
Okay.
And 4 or 5 years ago when North Chicago shot the cougar, that cougar had gone through that property because we chased it through there on midnights. But yeah, that's why there's wildlife. We have coyotes and deer and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all kinds
Sure,
of
because
wildlife
it's all
run through
close to
there.
that, yeah, it's all
Right.
close to that comment right away, which
Yes,
brings all the animals
correct.
from the lake and out west.
They come through the woods and the creek bed that runs between ComEd power lines through the industrial park. And it goes underground 173 right to that piece of property.
Mhm.
So they cross 173 right there. That's usually where we have the deer accidents. So, but yeah, that would be an ideal place. The one thought that comes to mind is if someone is donating a piece of property, is how far are they going to go with how many rules that they want to have on there? If they say a dog park, well, you know what? If we are going to have a dog park or dog training facility, you know, in my mind, you know, if a park district is going to do, you know, going to have a place for a dog park or potentially in the future a place to train dogs, we would probably want a small building for
Yes.
training dogs.
Right,
Inside, yeah.
yeah.
And
So
so-
that's not gonna be a
And-
possibility here, I'm pretty sure. He's never gonna agree to that.
And training dogs, isn't that going to affect the wildlife that's there? If you've got dogs out there.
Right. So then the other hand, you know, we do have this piece of open space conservation property, which, you know, we're all in favor for, and as long as people can utilize it, I'm for that too. And it's, you know, it's large value that someone will be donating to us, so we have to consider that.
So he does have the provisions in there allowing pathways to be put in.
Yes, that is, yeah, that remained in there.
So I've walked quite a bit of that for various reasons. It would take quite a bit of development to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
know.
wondering, how,
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not sure,
Some of it's already,
got paths probably already
yeah,
established,
sort of,
you know, yeah.
but,
How advanced how much are you gonna put in there?
right.
So I guess one option we can do, Marilyn, is just authorize you, between you and the lawyer and this gentleman here, to kind of work out the plans, because it sounds to me like this has to be done like yesterday.
Yeah, he's wanting to do it before the
So
end of
he's
the year,
adamant about
so-
having this done like
Tax
now.
purposes.
Right.
For-
Quick.
Yeah. So, and the next meeting probably be too late to make any type of decision.
It would be, yeah, it needs to be
So-
done probably
So
it
my-
needs to be done next week, so.
My recommendation is giving you the authorization between you, lawyer, and the gentleman here to,
Right. The only other things that, he did do a phase one environmental study on it, which is something that, I said we're not going to take it
Pay
unless
for, right.
a phase one environmental study was done, because we're not gonna take a piece of property that is gonna come back to haunt us. So there's nothing on the property. That was done, he paid for that. We probably will need to have a survey done, because he's not interested in doing the survey, and we probably would wanna have one for ourselves. And the title insurance, he would like the park district to do that part, and I don't know that that's a deal breaker for this kind of a donation. So I think we can probably get there, and I think it really could be a positive addition to Park District land in this community of Zion. I think like the development of it is, we're not taking away some development area that, the city could really benefit from, just because I think it is gonna be it hasn't been developed ever. It's been farmed, I think, back in the back.
Right.
It looked like from the aerial shots that there was farming, some
Mhm.
farming
That's
that was
correct.
done back there. So I would be happy to move forward with it and see where we get to, if you guys are comfortable with that.
yeah, I don't have a problem. I mean, we're already down to time. So right now, that'd probably be the most sensible thing to do, is kind of give it in your hands and the lawyer, and to figure out, cross the Ts, dot the Is, and
What type of maintenance would the Park District have to do on it?
I'm thinking it would be minimal.
You mean
Until
until you
we did
decided
some kind
to?
of development. Yes, if we make a dog park out there, yeah, that will take maintenance. You have to grow turf, you have to take care of
So
turf.
nothing in the immediate.
No, I don't think so. There's no open grass areas. It's all woods.
Is it
and-
immediately open to people to go on it, or is it, do you know what I'm saying? Once the
Yeah.
Park District gets it, then can the public use it, and then is there any potential?
I don't know, that's a good question. I don't think, you can stop on the road there and go out there and walk. Would we go after someone if they did that? There's a lot of open park space that, isn't really developed, that we do let people
The
go.
biggest issue would be,
Walk.
again, the people riding their motorcycles and their four-wheelers,
That's probably where we would,
that is
Do
probably
some
where you
kind
draw
of-
the line, and,
put signs.
9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, you can't catch them anyway. And the ones that you do, you tell them to take them home. But,
there is ordinances about motorized vehicle on all park property, so.
Right.
Those are already in place,
And
so
city
it wouldn't,
limits.
that would be general. So, I think that's kind of covered.
I'm just trying to look if there's any
Yeah,
downside to
right,
this.
No,
Is there any
Totally-
downside, is there
totally
any
get it.
downside to
That's a
this?
good
Yeah, I was,
well, we've got a lot of the trails and such in town that the moment you get off the trail, it's Park District property, it's heavily wooded, and so you have the same hazards. You've got the creeks and the little,
yeah, there's a
you know,
lot of parks that
there's a-
have that.
Okay.
So, yes.
but in that one in particular, there's heavy
helps you a little
heavy
bit,
swamp.
but-
There's heavy swamp in that.
Okay, so that's something to consider.
You may want to walk it in the spring,
Yeah,
or, you know,
I might want to talk to Padermo about it too then.
yes.
Just talk to them and say, you know, get their feedback on it. I
Yeah.
haven't done that. So that's a good idea.
So then we go back to kind of putting the ball in your court with the lawyer and this gentleman here and coming up with what we need to.
Right, see if we can make it happen in this time frame because he does have a time.
Yeah,
frame.
we don't have the time for it. So,
Just another question. Would it be for immediate, occupancy by the park district, or, you know what I mean, will we take it over right away, or would it be some
Yeah,
time
there
frame?
would be a, no,
there
would be a deed transfer before the end of the year.
right. All right, well, I will go ahead and entertain a motion that we get authorized Maryland via the lawyer and the gentleman who's owns the property to work out all the details and go ahead and approve whatever or disapprove the land, taking over the land.
So moved.
I second.
All right? Any questions?
I was working up the words to articulate it.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner McGarrett,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, next on the list is the state conference.
Right, so you
Spring.
guys remember, there was a state law passed about approval of expenditures for conferences. That was last year or the year before. So I decided it would be better if I just laid this out for everybody as to what's gonna happen.
This is good.
So,
This is good because there's no doubt in anybody's mind what is or what isn't.
right,
What the park district will fund.
right, so,
So,
any questions?
any questions from any of the commissioners? All right. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. All right, well then I will entertain a motion to approve the state conference expenses.
So moved.
Second.
I have a second.
I got one.
Any other questions? All right, Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner McGarrett,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, next on the list is the abuse and neglect child reporting.
So we are an agency that most of our staff are mandated reporters to the state for suspected abuse or neglect of children. Our day camp staff, our preschool staff, our facility staff in our facilities. So we pretty much go through this with every employee that they're aware of this. And there was a policy change, so I just gave you the red line outline of this because I thought it was just as easy to figure out what was changed. And we give this policy when I do my all-employee meetings every year. So I just want you to know that we've updated it to the standards for the state and that this is what's required by them and that we're going to update it in our policy manual for all staff. So it's, the only thing really changed is filling out the written report, which has not been in our information in the past, and we picked that up at legislative conference, actually. That was one of the discussion items there. And so making sure that the staff are aware. They are encouraged to make decisions about whether to call on suspected abuse, but they do have to do a report, which was not part of the training that I was giving them previously.
And then the address to mail it to.
Yep, that was in there. Mhm.
Okay.
And just mailing it. And we also added volunteers to this policy, which previously we just had for employees. And we will be making sure that any volunteers for any youth program specifically are trained in this also.
Okay. All right. So I will entertain a motion to approve the corrections to the abuse and neglect child reporting.
So moved.
I have a second. I have a second. Any questions? Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner McGarrett,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers, Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, boss.
Ready?
Your
You're
call.
up.
Charlie's turn here.
Okay.
You're up.
Keith
Wake
made
up, Charlie.
a beautiful packet for you.
I don't know what you.
So share those.
You
You need it?
So,
I made one for you. So.
as you can see, there's some pictures in there of what our current T-boulders look like.
Jesse doesn't have the pictures
Oh, sorry.
yet. He's been waiting a long time.
Yeah. You want? No, I've seen it. Okay.
All right, sir.
Okay.
Aye, sir.
So, you see the first picture of what the fake concrete boulders look like next to our tees.
You're not ready.
They're the originals from when the course was built in 2000. They're deteriorating. Some of them aren't concrete anymore. We're looking to replace those with something a little bit more simple. You can see on the second page what our current tee setup looks like. You have the wall washer, the rock, garbage can. We'd like to consolidate those into a new tee sign, aluminum sign that concrete into the ground with a plaque on it. Very simple. And then put the corresponding yardages on the tees as a granite stone. And the total cost for that, I believe, is just a little over $13,000 to do all 18.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few options that we did give, replacing the boulders, just the ones that are broken. They'll probably look a little bit odd having some new ones and some old ones. Replacing all 18,
No.
which you can see is even more expensive than doing an aluminum, black painted aluminum post with a nice plaque on it. On the very last page, you can see what a basic rendering of what a sign would look like. And the ball washer would attach right to the post. It would be simple, be out of maintenance's way.
Okay.
And you're recommending option 2.
We're recommending option 2, going with an aluminum post and a plaque.
So the plaque would have the Shepherd's logo.
Logo on it,
obviously.
yep.
And then the T hole number and the par.
That's nice.
So we want to give something that the public can come out and see that, you know, we only raised the rates, what, $5, but we are making steps, we are improving Shepherd's Crook, and we're trying to, you know, make
Those
further
comments
steps.
are already made. I mean, that's, yeah, that's,
Will there be a picture of the hole as well?
No. We felt as if people don't really pay attention to the whole picture that much. What you see out in front of you is pretty self-explanatory out there, except
Isn't that, yeah.
for a part of maybe
No, a lot of
number
pictures
10.
of the cards, there's a picture of the green.
Um,
Oh, where's that?
but we thought just a simple sign
Those are the-
would be sufficient, and not putting the yardages on there. You have them on the scorecard,
yeah.
and you go up on the tee, and you have the number on the tee, as opposed to, right now there are cut wooden telephone poles in the rough that's just painted with the corresponding tee marker. So just putting a stone with the actual yardage in the tee, I think would be a really nice touch.
Yeah, that would class that up for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And putting it on every hole on the black tee, which is the most used.
Yep.
And then the green forward tees. And putting it on every tee box on the par threes, because that's where people are really most concerned about the distance to the hole. You know, most of the people who are out there aren't hitting it to the hole in one, on the par fours or fives.
Yeah. So, again, you're recommending option 2.
I am.
Okay. I do want to tell you that, and I know that Jesse and a few others will vouch, the comments that I'm hearing about Shepherd's is just off the charts.
Thank you.
I mean, people have been telling me that it has made like 100% change from when you took over, and everything is just coming together. And,
Thank you.
and I'll tell you, I know that's not easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not easy, and I didn't realize how hard golf maintenance was until, you know, my times in the military and seeing military golf courses. Yeah, it's a big thing, so I want to thank you for everything you're doing along with this.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
all
I
right,
got a
go ahead,
question.
Jess.
What you doing? Were you guys thinking about changing the water things too?
The ball washers?
No.
No.
Oh, the water.
The ponds?
No, where you get the water,
When,
the
Oh,
drinking.
no, those are, you know, they're, in like a fake wooden plastic jug. I think they look fine for now. You know, something that we could look at, but I think those are fairly new, and, you know, that's not a big ticket item if we need to change those out. But to do all 18 posts is, you know, a little bit more
yeah.
than, you know, just changing a couple of water coolers, so.
Okay, any other questions from any of the commissioners? All right, I will entertain a motion to update the T-complex signs going with option 2.
So moved.
I second it.
I have a second. Any further questions? Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner McGarrett,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers, Commissioner Pye,
Alright,
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, now
I just wanted
Go
to say
ahead, I'm
one
sorry,
thing. I
sir.
think what's happening at the Shepherd's Group is fantastic, and I don't have any qualms about the decisions that you guys are making out there.
Absolutely.
Because it's going in such a positive direction.
Great.
Oh,
Thank you.
definitely,
Yeah.
Thank you.
for
Right.
sure.
And we're getting a discount, right?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get it in this meeting. If we get it ordered before the end of the year, we get an extra 15% off, so
Wow.
really wanted to
Alright.
move on this to get that, you know, extra 2,000 or 3,000 off.
Good deal. Hey, thanks. Again, outstanding job. You're doing great work. Okay, Marilyn, the invoice for the IAPD membership.
Yep, so that was the last thing that I received. I put that on your spaces because I didn't have that till after the packets went out. But the dues for IAPD are $4,999.75, same as last year. I think that we do get enough value out of our membership with IAPD that I recommend that we pay our dues and be dues paying members again.
499975.
499975.
It's a good number.
that's great.
All right. Any questions from any of the commissioners? All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the invoice.
So moved.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Do I-
Second it.
I have a second. Any questions? All right, Eric, please read the roll call.
Commissioner Pye,
Alright,
Commissioner Rivers, Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner McGarrett,
Aye.
President Hartman.
Aye. All right, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I said it at the Christmas luncheon and also the Thanksgiving. I'm very optimistic that we're going to have a very successful 2019. So, again, please be safe. Have a Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll see everybody back in 2019. All right,
Thank you.
I will go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Rick.
No, you're the lead. I was gonna jump.
Go ahead.
and- Oh, you need to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Oh, you're gonna adjourn?
Jump into
All
the
right,
adjournment.
you
Yeah.
want the adjournment.
Yeah.
All right. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting of December 20th, 2018.
So moved.
I have a
second.
second. All right, I have a second. Eric, please roll call.
Commissioner Pye,
Alright,
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers,
Aye.
Commissioner McGarrett?
Aye.
President Hartman?
Aye.
Did that help your headache?